Hi, I'm Jeremy Crosby.
And I'm Nick Boucher. We're your hosts for the program that's all about your city, Talking Fitchburg.
Every weekday, we pull together the news, events, and information you need to stay on top of what's happening in the city of Fitchburg.
Find Talking Fitchburg on cable TV, Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV, and our live stream on the web. Plus, you can find all our headlines and stories on Facebook, YouTube, and our video on demand service. This is your city.
Keep up with Talking Fitchburg and the issues affecting you and your neighbors.
Want to know what's happening in your city? Get Notify Me messages from the City of Fitchburg. Visit fitchburgwi.gov on your computer or mobile device and select the big Notify Me button on the left. Enter your email and/or phone number, whichever is best for you to get notifications. Scroll down the list and select all the topics you're interested in to receive email or text messages about. You'll be notified every time one of your topics is updated. Sign up for Notify Me, one more way to keep up with your Fitchburg government.
Welcome to the November 19th, 2025 meeting of the Police and Fire Commission. The meeting will now come to order. Second item on the agenda. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, third item on the agenda, approval of minutes, 3A. Is there any corrections necessary or needed for the discussion around corrections for the minutes? From October 15th, 2025. No discussion, here none. I will take a motion to approve the minutes. I move approval.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. For all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. The minutes are approved. Item number 4 on the agenda, public appearance for non-agenda items. No public, no one from the public is here, so we will proceed to item 5A on the agenda, the staffing report from the police department. Chief Morales, you have the floor.
Good evening, everyone. I have to say good evening. It's dark out there, though I could say good afternoon. We're still down 4 vacancies. We're looking to discuss sergeant positions upcoming. We have 4 officer positions. I think, what is it, next week that we're going to be doing a police officer? December 4th, we're going to be having a police officer hiring process. The good thing with our vacancies is we have no one on field training. We have no one at the academy, and no one is on leave. So everybody out there is out there filling their weight. Be excited to see what we have with the new officers coming in. I think there's going to be some lateral applying as well. So we have that. Any questions on the staffing? Oh, you did. Okay. So moving on to the monthly activity report. The standard, we're still dropping on calls for service. There was 1,000 citizen-generated calls for service. Officers initiated 981. Compared to last month, they're still decreased by 38. Officer-initiated calls decreased as well. We've had a knock on wood that it continues kind of quiet October. Citizens generated calls last October were decreased by 71 compared to last year, as well as officer-initiated calls for service. Overall crime, as you can see, there's 5 reported burglaries for the month of October. That's high for the city of Fitchburg. 5 of which were attempt burglaries. We did take a deep dive on there. We are investigating and monitoring. They're not all in the same location. We're not seeing a trend with the exception of the northwest end of Fitchburg, where the attempts are through, they're attempted through the window. It's difficult to get some evidence on there, although we're following up. We're trying to narrow it down when they're occurring, and hopefully we can identify who the actors are for that location. But we're monitoring it, and I'm hoping that this gets resolved before they increase and impact our numbers. As far as shots fired, gun-related crime, we went another month with no reports of shooting or shots fired. 3 firearms were seized, and no robberies reported. I will explain in the charge about the latter chart about the robberies, which was something that we were monitoring earlier in the year. Domestic violence incidents, we had 8 for the month. If you feel like reading some of the narratives on those incidents, they're listed in the report. For aldermanic districts, you also have some of the crime, and you can see that OWIs are pretty much in everyone's district. As far as the data, the charts on the last page, citizen-generated calls for service, you can continue to see that there is a decrease on that. Officer-initiated calls are still up despite the drop or the vacancies. We're still doing some good work, and that's because like I indicated earlier, we have nobody that needs to work with another officer at the time, no one in training. Going down to the charts, here's what's important to see. As I indicated with robberies, earlier in the year, we had several robberies that was going to look like we were going to have a bad year. If you look at the last 3 months, there were no robberies, so we're catching up to last year numbers, and last year numbers were pretty good. So we should be balancing out to having the similar number of robberies that we had last year. That's good investigative work. We're down overall Part 1 crime by 40%. Some of the things that I want to point out, as I indicated to monitor at the beginning of the year, was aggravated assaults. They're down by 51%. But if you look at the aggravated assaults, that's connected to gun violence and it's connected to domestic violence. You're going to hear me later talk about some people that are involved in domestic violence investigations. But if you look at our domestic, we're down 30%. We're making an impact on domestic violence calls for service, and that's extremely important. The world that I came from, if you can focus on gun violence and focus on domestic violence, that'll bring your overall Part 1 crime. Here's another important thing about, not Part 1 crime, aggravated assaults. Oftentimes, a big driver of your aggravated assaults are domestic violence. Everywhere I go, I try to focus on that part of it, and you'll notice that there's a drop. Putting that interest, you see several of them that are repeat offenders. So if you can focus on that, and hence we created a DV team 3 years ago, you can see that now we are noticing a difference in the numbers. Traffic crashes is one thing that I like to work on in a growing city. We have yet 4% decrease is not enough. It's staying consistent. I know that there's been good work. We have a monthly meeting on traffic, just traffic plans. We take an approach. So it's not just the police department that looks at traffic incidents, but I know the design, the engineering through design, enforcement and education. I'm hoping that as the city grows, we can keep those numbers down. And I like the bottom chart. It shows that our department is doing a lot of work out there in traffic monitoring, traffic stops. We'll continue to monitor if our activity is really helping with the crashes. Hopefully we can compare that. Next year we can start comparing to this year and the year before. Any questions?
Chief, are you working with public health when it comes to domestics, as far as a preventive situation, especially when there's some they may have weapons in the house or something like that?
Well, I just happen to have some that are on the DV team here today, so maybe they could tell us what they do with domestic violence. Are we working with Department of Health?
Department of Health, I'm not so sure. We work with like Unidos and crisis line. We work with them to provide resources for the victims. I know we provided with our social worker. Our social worker is a big factor in that too. A lot of the DV offenders would break the victim's phone, so that would really make them reliable or rely on the offender. And our social worker has given, temporary cell phones out to the victims.
Any other questions? That's all I have.
Great, thank you, Chief. Next item on the agenda is 5B, closed session. I will take us into closed session. Pursuant to section 19.85, subsection 1, subsection C, Wisconsin statutes, the commission will move into closed session for the purpose of considering employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility. More specifically, to remove the probationary status of one police officer, to get approval of a sergeant promotion, and approval to create a sergeant eligibility list. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. We are in closed session. The commission is now in open session. Action may be taken on items discussed in closed session.
Yes. Motion to remove the probationary status of Officer Erica Braun.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. Motion carries.
Aye.
Any other actions to take from closed session?
Yes, I move that Officer Spangler be promoted to the position of sergeant and that Officer Fennerton be placed on the sergeant eligibility list.
Is there a second?
I second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. The ayes have it, motion carries. Next item on the agenda, item 6A, staffing report from the fire department. Chief, you're up.
All right. Good afternoon, evening to everybody. So as far as calls for service, we are up about 11% in October. Kind of coming back into that normal range. In my crystal ball, look at this, I think we might be up anywhere from like that 3 to 5% range at the end of the year. But we'll see how that goes. This month has already started off to be a pretty busy month and with some pretty serious incidents that we've responded to with our other public safety partners. So inspections chugging along, doing a really good job there. I think I've told you before, we've reduced false alarms as well by over 30% year over year for the last 2 years anyway. So that's really good. As far as career and part-time staff, we did receive one resignation from a firefighter, and then we have some stuff to talk about tonight about recruitment. And then we did promote the firefighter to career firefighter from intern status as well. She has completed all the background stuff, and she is running calls online as a career firefighter already. So good stuff. Overtime, pretty significant drop, which is a good thing for me. It's definitely one of my challenges from last year. And then hopefully we can continue that throughout the rest of the year and kind of manage that overage that I'm experiencing right now. Mandates, 4 in October, and then we have 4 currently pending I'm sorry, that is from last month. So yeah, 4 in October for mandates. And that's what I have.
questions on the staffing report? Okay, hearing none, we will proceed to item 6B. Request to approve the CPAT physical, psychological, and drug tests for all future POX hires after January 1st, 2026. Request to approve CPAT physical and drug tests for future fire interns hired after January 1st, 2026. Chief, why don't you take us through a little bit more detail around?
So, from the wellness and employee, safety and just general outlook of who we hire, I wanted to add the same requirements that we do for career firefighters. Specifically the CPAT is designed for entry-level firefighters, whether you're part-time or full-time. So it's a good way to identify a fitness level that meets that minimum requirement. It's internationally recognized by the Firefighters Union. It was created in a very collaborative environment so that they could eliminate as much bias as possible. I think they completed that. I've been familiar in my career with that part of the testing process for the last 20 years, and I think it does its job. As far as the psych and medical, again, I just want to make sure that we know what's going on with our people when we hire them. Obviously, the intensity level of our job at certain periods can be very demanding, and I want to make sure we know what's going on with our people prior to putting them in that situation and taking that on. So really just trying to bring that in line as far as those evaluations. And then the intern for the CPAT, it would be the goal to get the intern in their first year or so, and I think we're still working on some of those details, through the CPAT test process. So we could train them for that first year and then have a goal of them passing that, moving into their second year of the internship. But again, the medical side, right? Some of the stuff that we look for in our medical assessments is not something that everybody knows about themselves, whether they have any kind of cardiac history, whether it's passed on, or a congenital disease that has not been discovered. I really don't want to discover that at a training or in an incident. So I would really like to extend that really as a benefit to those new hires and helping us feel a lot better about what we're putting people, the situation we're putting people into.
What does CPAT stand for?
Candidate Physical Ability Test. It's specifically designed only for entry-level firefighters, not for incumbent firefighters. So this would not be an annual assessment. It's only at the entry level.
And you say you'll have funds budgeted for that?
Well, we are going to ask them to come to the interview with that certification. The interns are something that we would work out.
Okay.
It looks like, it's not 100% yet, that the Madison Area Technical College will be offering the CPAT testing here locally as well in the future. So we're looking forward to that. If not, there's several places around the state that do offer that.
And the reason we're looking to do this effective after January 1st is just the budget. We don't have the money budgeted left. So we're going to be bringing some hires to you in the closed session, but that's the reasoning.
Is it intentional that the word psychological is excluded from the interns? Is that a portion of the CPAT that you would not?
So they're so heavily supervised, and I would say their integration program is much longer to where I think we could identify that ourselves. And at their age, I don't know if a lot of this would apply. Sarah and I talked about that, whether or not it was appropriate for them. Having been through a few of those myself, and I'm sure some of you as well, I don't know if it would be an adequate tool for an intern.
Some of the interns are just testing the waters to see if firefighting is even the career that they want to be in. So it may not be long term that they'll even stay with fire. So.
And then there's a cost to that.
How much is it?
It's like $500.
Yeah. So not that I think is the decision point, but yet we really looked at the age, and I don't even know how comfortable they'd be answering and discussing But we would, obviously, we're vetting them that whole training period before they even go on a call. So I really think that takes the place of that. Myself.
And what's the average age of people in the public, for the interns that we're looking at?
18 to 19. Yeah. They have to be 18. They can apply at 17, but they can't start.
Yep, I have
They have to be 18 to start. Yeah.
So, but they would start taking this test at 17 if we.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
And again, that's something that we can, kind of, see what the pulse is on that. We haven't had folks, to my knowledge, drop from the program for those issues. And I really think the industry, both law enforcement and fire, are doing such a better job talking about mental health and stress and following up and supporting that hopefully that's having an impact.
Any other questions or discussion? Okay, hearing none. Is there a motion to approve these requirements?
I'll move
approval as the chief has presented.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? No? Motion carries. January 1st. Once we have the new budget, right? That's when we can start.
Yeah.
Great, great. Okay, moving on to the next item on the agenda, 6C. I will move us into closed session. Pursuant to section 19.85, subsection 1, subsection Z, Wisconsin statutes, the commission will move into closed session for the purpose of considering employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility. More specifically, to notice the commission of a resignation, to make conditional offers of employment for the positions of POX firefighter and POX battalion chief, to request the start of a lieutenant promotional process, and to start a fire science resident intern recruitment process.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. Motion carries. We are now in closed session. The commission is now back in open session. Are there any actions to take based on items discussed in closed session?
I move approval for the fire chief to make conditional offers of employment to candidates for POX firefighters.
Is there a second?
A second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion carries. Any other actions?
Yes, I move for the fire chief to make offers of employment to POX battalion chief and to approve an eligibility list.
A second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? No. Motion carries. Any other actions?
Yes. Motion to start a lieutenant promotional process.
A second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. Motion carries. Any other action?
Yes. I move that we start a fire science resident intern recruitment process.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Chief. Next item on the agenda, item 7, is announcements. Are there any announcements?
We have created a small training center behind our fire station 1 using a old well house building that Public Works graciously gave to the fire department, as well as purchasing a shipping container that we kind of merged together into a training center. So our folks are really excited. We're sharing it with our response partners, Dane County Sheriffs, as well as the PD here and our EMS group as well. We're looking forward to people getting a lot of use out of that, and also potentially affecting our ISO rating, which is your homeowners infection or homeowners insurance, by including us having a training center and training area now, which is a big deal. And it's simple, but in my experience, simple is better in training centers. So we're excited about it. Stop by, take a look if you want.
Okay, thank you, Chief. Are there any other announcements? Hearing none, we'll move to the last item of the agenda, adjournment.
I move we adjourn.
Second.
It's been properly seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Okay.